Welcome to the Don Pod, the supporters podcast. Here's your hosts, Sam and Nate.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Hello. Welcome back to the Don Pod. It's been a while since we've had a chat, but the trade period's done and we need to have an update from us Nuffies. We say it'll be a quick one, but it's not going to be. We both know that. I'm joined by Nathan. Hello to you, sir.
Hello, Sam, and welcome to everyone. Welcome back to another chat about our team and how ordinary we probably are, but we believe we could be better next year because, you know, we live in that hope. What's that Shawshank Redemption thing, you know?
Seen it, but not.
Oh, there's
not
a
that
scene in
familiar.
that where he talks about hope will kill you, you know?
Oh, right, okay. Yep. Hope does kill you.
Beautiful analogy there. Anyway, moving along.
No, it will kill you. I fully support that. It's the worst thing in footy, expectation. As we say, the trade period is done and dusted. We had to Google the position of Matt Rosa, the AFL Talent and Operations Manager, in his first trade period. Interesting. One of our quieter ones of recent years. It was quite funny about halfway through the media started writing about the fact we were quiet and how bad that was, which I find hilarious. But anyway, 2 trades in the books for the Essendon Football Club. I'll reel through them and then we'll go into a bit more detail, I think.
Yep.
Talking about them. So, Essendon trade, it's pick 9 and 2025 round 3 to Melbourne for, big breath, picks 28, 40, 46, 54, 65 and Melbourne's first round in 2025. Future first round, yes. It was a much discussed among supporters. I think we all kind of got to the consensus that it was fine because of Kako. And the other trade that went through with about 5 minutes left, I reckon, maybe not even that, was pick 53 comes to us for Jake Stringer, who heads up to GWS.
And just straight away, what are your thoughts on that one?
Well, we can start there if you like.
Yeah.
Because I have some opinions.
Yep.
Dick move, to be honest. I think
It's the like that.
Jake obviously thought he deserved that second year. Went out and sort of maybe found out that I don't have as much commodity as I thought I had. Collingwood was sort of, actually don't worry about it. And then it was always GWS. It fell through 24 hours before the end of the trade period, and I think, I'm guessing here, of course, Jake might have had a little bit of wee come out that, to come back to the club after such a shit show might not have worked out overly well for him. But in the end, pick 53 comes to us. It's a nothing pick. We haggled from pick 56 to pick 53 apparently, and that's what got the trade done, which was just 3 picks. I mean, what's the point? But anyway, I don't understand GWS as the option for him. I think they've got talent in that area. Toby Green,
Hogan, the Irish guy.
yeah.
Well, they've got
Cadman as the younger kid.
They've got some really the young kid, Cadman, like.
And the X factor in Toby they've got, and it's not like they're getting a kid who they're going to have for the next 5 years. Jake's got.
And are they going to push Jake through the midfield? Like, is that?
Well, we've seen.
I thought it was an interesting choice too. I think from I don't see how it fits in that club, but I mean, I guess they're thinking that, and this can be the death of some clubs. They think that they're close to a premiership, and they're looking for a couple more top end talents just to get in there and be that better. But I don't know if Jake's that guy. Like, would he have won them the game when they had all those scores against them in those 2 finals? No.
He's not making a difference. He's part of the problem, I reckon, in that scenario.
I think so too. And anyway, look, the thing I'm probably a bit disappointed most about is that we lose, and say what you will, but we lose a best 23 player for nothing. Like, pick 53, which is probably where I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm like, I feel like we've been jibbed.
I think that's symbolic of his age, though. I
get that because I saw
talent.
what Parker went for, who left Sydney to North Melbourne. Like, he went for nothing too. Maybe picking the 60s.
They're done. They've got maybe 1 or 2 years. I mean, Jake played a full season, but has had his injury issues in the past.
Yeah, it'll be the first full season he's played for many years. Well, since he's been at Essendon, I'd nearly say.
And I think, yeah, for sure. I think for us, that pick 53, it's worth maybe a couple of 100 points. It helps with Kako, technically. Cal Toomey, for what it's worth, wrote about Kako and said we're going to go wacko for Kako. So that's why we're going with that pronunciation. I'm so glad Cal did that because I had no idea and I was changing every time I said it. So we're going with Kako. Look, I don't want to hate on Jake. I think if he came back, I would have been pretty pissed off because it's a pretty shit thing to do to say I'm worth more than this and then go out and find you're not.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with players trying to, get the most out of their last few years because I understand they're at that stage where they're trying to make money and they know the end of their careers are coming. And probably someone like Jake is like, well, where else am I going to make money for the next 30 years of my life, But I don't think he's going to be in the media. He certainly doesn't seem like the guy's going to get a coaching role, at clubs.
Probably do sports bet ads or something.
Yeah, probably go along that line somewhere. But, yeah. I just think it's... I mean, I was a fan of Jake Stringer. I liked the way he played when he played well. We knew what you got with Jake. I have the jumper that year that we had the...
I've got it.
The coronavirus year when they all sent us a jumper. I went with Jake because he was like, he's at least, does cool things every so often.
Well, you remember that conversation because I wanted Joe, but I was too scared he'd leave. So I ended up with Jake as well, and they're both gone.
Yeah, maybe we did talk about. Maybe we should have met Zach Merritt. Like we didn't think of that. We're like, I
don't think he was an option, was he? Wasn't it a set list of players?
Oh, was it? I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter. I mean, I remember at the time thinking, who do I really like at the club? No one.
Yeah, we were both having that issue. I remember talking about it. Yeah. I don't like anyone really except Danaher and Jake, and Danaher's a flight risk. So.
Yeah, and he was.
Yeah, and he was, and he won a flag and pissed off. Did Joe?
Yeah. So I think it's sad, but it is what it is.
I'll be watching them with interest. Like at the start of this year, I started watching Zerk Thatcher and kind of trying to work out that deal. And then by the end of the year, I was like, you know what, you're playing in a top 4 side. I know their finals series wasn't overly successful, but whatever. I'll be watching them with a bit of interest next year because, like we said, I can't see the value. I can't see the value of him at a club like that. He's not contributing to the culture, which is apparently quite poor at the moment.
Yeah, they did have a bit of a bad week, didn't they? Yeah, but anyway, I agree with you. I'll be interested to see how he goes. I'll be interested if they play him in the midfield or if they've brought him in as a forward or is it that midfield forward?
If they've brought him in to play in the midfield, he will break down within 5 weeks. He's not going to be able to play consistent midfield.
Well, it'll be fascinating because their coach seems like a real hard unit, like a real...
Yeah, tough dude.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see how that goes with Jake, who has never turned up fit in his life, but... He's probably a big... We'll call him big boned. He'll be one of those guys that just always looks a bit big.
Yes, you can't use the other words now. I wonder if there'll be any articles written about him now he's in Sydney and no one cares.
No, that's true. He'll be able to have a quiet life up there.
The other trade, as we said, was that pick swap with Melbourne. I'm not going to read it again. Obviously, I mean, I think the club even confirmed that it was all about Kako and getting points, and we now don't have to use pick 9 for points if he is bid on before us, which apparently he will be. And I like the fact we've taken that gamble on Melbourne's pick next year. I think they got some issues. Sure, they might improve a little bit, but I certainly don't see them jumping back into the top 4. And if they can free fall a little bit, well then by next year we're going to have 2 top 10 draft picks thanks to that trade. So. And still have Kako.
You and I had slightly different views of that because Melbourne obviously came 14th this year. Mm-hmm. So, from that perspective, it's a good pick. I was like, but will they bounce back up? Like they had Oliver and Petrarca had horrible year. Probably not Petrarca until he got injured, but Oliver had a shocking year, But then there was talk of Oliver leaving and all that sort of stuff. Is the culture a bit busted?
They seem a little.
Are they going down or up? You're betting that they're going down?
I'm comfortable to say I can look at it and think they go backwards or the same, right? So if we finish the same, they finish the same, but we end up with pick 5 and 9. Yeah, which is what they've got this year. But we've won on that trade because we've sent out pick 9. So Lockie Schultz. Fremantle sure as shit wouldn't have seen Collingwood finishing where they finished.
No, they're happy with that.
They took a punt, and then all of a sudden Collingwood missed finals, and they get 3 picks in a row. I don't know if it stayed that way. No, they traded. But,
they traded one.
Shai Bolton. Yeah, handy. But I'm happy with the risk. I'm happy with the points. It gets us on the board with Kako. You're upset because we're not going to get a go at Jobe Shanahan. I am too, but that was only ever me and you. Wanting that to happen.
Well, this is what the podcast is about. I don't know if you know, it's our podcast. We're the only ones who've been to get upset about things.
So what happens now?
About anyone else's view.
So he goes in the late teens.
Well, we've got 28's our first. No, 20. Is it 28?
So he ends up at the Bulldogs or Richmond. Do you watch him with interest? Do you sort of follow his career?
I definitely will.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see his career. I don't think no way the Bulldogs would go him. No way. They don't need
Richmond
another
makes
keeper.
a lot of sense.
Richmond, they definitely have a look at him. They'd be foolish not to. But Bulldogs would go, no, we do not need another fucking forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
So overall, we have now picked 28, 31, 40, 46, 53, 54, 65 and 86. And that is a pick value of 2,586, which puts us smack bang in the middle of the pick value points. I just want to throw out there, Richmond has...
Which point? So for which...
This is like the draft pick value.
For how many...
That's our total value of picks.
Yeah.
What are you saying? What pick does that equal?
Yeah.
Well, pick one's 3,000.
Okay, so
it's a pick one and a pick. What did I say we had?
2,000.
2,500. Oh yeah, no. So pick two. Pick two's 2,517.
Okay, so if he goes, which he's not going to go at 2, but we're sorted after that. My question then is, if you take that away, take 28 away, what's 31, 40, 46, 53, 54?
Oh dear.
Because I'm wondering if we get to throw another, you wonder, if 28 can be used, or 31, one of those two, for a second round player.
28's worth 670 points.
Okay, so that all just depends on when somebody bids on Kako. So the later the bid happens on Kako, the more...
The better for us.
Yeah, the more we might be able to use pick 28 or 31.
I think from what I've seen, St Kilda pick 7 or 8, so 1,100 points we're going to need. So we'll still have 1,000 points. What the makeup is to that? And I've got no idea what the rules are, if we have to use the top or if we can just use any picks.
I think we can use any points. Well, that would be the idea of it.
And we get a discount? Did we figure out we get a discount?
Yeah, we got a discount. We get a 10% discount because we're second-time purchasers or something.
NGA. I wasn't sure
Free shipping too, I believe.
Oh, fucking idiot. This morning I was thinking, geez, I've missed doing the pod. Now I'm not so sure. Oh no, I forgot that I cancelled Zoom. I've just got the pop-up saying you'd be gone in 10 minutes. So
that's all right. We won't be 10 more minutes.
Better wrap up. Literally did that 2 days ago. Oh dear.
That's all right.
So a scale of 1 to 10 for you, and try to think about this in all-encompassing, that the direction of the club, everything. What would you rate that trade?
Well, I think before I say that, I think it's important you tell me what you told me. Tell them what you told me before about the Matt Rose's statement.
The article.
Yeah.
As an article in the Age, it was well shared on Twitter.
It's in on the ABC. On the AFL website.
Yeah, well shared on Twitter as well. So this 3-year plan of Matt Rosa, Craig Vozzo, and Brad Scott. Basically, the view is that the top-end talent isn't in the club right now, and the way for us to get that top-end talent is through the draft. So this is year 1 of that 3-year plan. What they're hoping for is that by the end of this 3-year plan, at that point, so that would be the end of 2026, then we can start looking at players and targeting trades rather than the national draft.
Yep.
And
so
by that point, we'll have
yep.
some investment in these kids that we're getting now. Yep. And, we'll be in a much better position. And I said to you before, this makes me so happy because we have historically and famously always thought we were ahead of where we are. Matthew Knights, Damien Hardwick, 2009, bringing in Shield, Smith, Stringer in 2017-18 with Sard as well. We just thought we were much closer than we actually were. This is the first acknowledgement of...
Even last year with the guys we brought in.
Yeah, maybe. This is
they didn't work. Let's be honest, brutally honest.
The only one I can give a pass to is Dersma because he's a bit
Yeah.
younger.
Mm.
Gresham was average
look
as the
like a
season
fail?
went on. Goldstein, I mean, he's old. I think we got what we
Can't
expected
count
out
that.
of him, potentially. Who's the
Yep.
other one?
Oh,
Mackay.
Mackay.
Mackay, I
Yes.
think, gets a pass. He finished very
Yeah,
highly. in the
Mackay
best
gets a
and
pass
fairest
because of
and-
who he is, or just that he fills the gap of
Yeah, but he finished high in the BNF, so clearly there was a rating of him.
Yeah, but I'm very happy to hear that. And it's funny, before this I said, "Oh, have you looked at what's his name? Granger Barras has been dropped by Hawthorn. He was a first round pick. Maybe we should go after him." And then when you talk about that, and I go, I guess that's our mindset is always to try and pick up spuds and see if they can be a little bit better. Whereas what the club is saying, which I fully support,
Yeah.
no more spuds. We're going to actually try and find some talent and improve the quality of players coming into the club, which I'm full support of.
Which is great, yes. And when you talk about Granger Barras, Nathan Kruger from Collingwood
Yeah,
was the other one that I was
decent player. Yeah,
a good player. And we have delisted Wiedemann. So Wiedemann was one of those picks. We traded like a 4th round pick to Melbourne, virtually nothing.
Yep.
He hasn't worked out. Obviously, Pete has.
Yep.
Out of those two, but they're so low risk. I love them still. It's that pure money ball.
And that's what I think with Granger Barras is he's still only fairly young. Like he was a first round pick, and is he the sort of kid? Is he lazy, or is he just like he must have had talent at 18? You don't lose talent.
Plenty of
you
top
can
10.
become lazy, and you can maybe he's gone off the rails in some personal life thing. I don't know.
Or the club's just gone past him.
Yeah,
Which with
like
Hawthorn is very, very likely at this point.
So, I mean,
So-
it's kids like that. I don't mind putting him in, if you can get a chance to put him in the VFL or put him on some sort of 1 year deal, whatever you can do, just to see what's he like.
I like that. I like the propping up of the VFL because a good VFL side will
Yep.
help. I mean, a good AFL side also helps the VFL. It goes both ways, but
We've seen those success in both.
we
right?
have
Yeah.
been pretty average in the VFL for a while. So even if they're VFL listed for 12 months, Narkle, who are rumoured to be delisted from Port
Yeah.
in the coming weeks, he was on a VFL list. He got picked up in a mid-season draft. Like, it's an option.
Yep.
It's an option for the
Yeah,
player.
that's right.
So, what would you give us out of 10? Just a rating?
I mean,
If you think about everything.
I think that the future round, as you said, we're getting 2 first round picks next year, and if we're chasing talent, then that's really good. So I'll give us like a 7. I don't think it was massive, maybe 6.5.
I'll go 8.
All right.
I think for what we've set out to get, we get it. We've made sure we've got the Kako thing.
Yep.
We're not going to get screwed over by losing pick 9 for Kako, so we're actually going to get
That's right.
benefit from that NGA
Yep.
pick. If we can pick up, just a little gem at 28, as you said, or whatever it might be,
That would be awesome.
fantastic. If Job Shanahan wants to slip to there, I'll be very happy as well.
Pray to gods. Pray to the draft gods.
So that's upcoming on the 20th and 21st of November, so another month away. We can obviously still swap picks up until that point, I believe.
Yeah.
They can trade whenever they want now, but
Yeah,
obviously
you can trade
only
during the draft period.
picks. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I think what was really interesting, it was really quiet. And I know that that's different for us. And I love that there's a strategy there for that reason. That there's a reasoning behind the quietness.
There's a thought process.
Yeah, so
How
that
good.
really excites me. Let's see where we go with this. This is new.
This is new. So does it, and particularly that article about the 3-year plan, does that sort of alter your expectations now for next year and possibly the
Yeah.
year after?
Definitely. Because they're kind of saying that they're saying, well, not kind of, they're saying the
just
talent's not in the team. So then my question is that, well, why don't you play more of the kids? Like, why does Goldstein stay on the list? And he better not play senior footy next year in front of, the other ruckman, because that would just really frustrate me.
Yeah.
Because you can't say, well, we haven't got the talent in the club, but we're going to play a 37-year-old.
And I think we're past the point of protecting Brian in that example. He just needs to play.
Exactly. Well, he played the last, 7 games or whatever it was, and I'm sure he's pretty knackered by the end of that, but he would be like, right, he'd be having a massive
plenty.
preseason this right now. He'd be training the house down.
Looking ahead 12 months, if I can, there's rumours of Draper. Next year, he's a free
I heard
agent
that,
at the end of 2025.
We'd get a good pick for him if he
Big
did leave.
interest
I
in
don't think he
Adelaide.
would leave.
We'll
But
get that first round compensation in that scenario. Yeah, I'm sure. Something to think about. And if this is where my mind goes. If they're saying, hey, we're not quite good enough, well, then can we look at some of our older players? And is there any value in that? And then I'm not suggesting Parrish in particular, but yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of options because we're not a particularly old list. So it really is, well, it was Stringer. He went. Parrish, Merritt. Obviously, Merritt was talked about a lot.
Yeah,
I liked his honesty with that too, just quietly coming out and saying, look, I had to give it consideration because it's, it's my life, it's my family, it's everything. But yeah, going to St Kilda for success is like dancing with your sister. No one wins. No,
it's not. I mean, I'm sure St Kilda will have success at some stage, but geez,
Ross Lyon is just not the guy I want to be playing for.
But when could they have success? I mean, they've had one premiership. At least, like there's dreams of us getting there again.
If there's any coach I want to play for right now, it's Sam Mitchell. I'll be honest.
Oh, gross. No way.
I'm sorry. That's who I want to be playing
That's
for.
it. Let's call this thing off. I'm not fucking doing this anymore.
You gotta just look at it.
No, I don't got to.
Okay.
No, I don't got to at all.
All right. So, turns out I'm more mature than Nathan.
Oh, you mother.
He's got 20 years on me. Well, sorry. Well, about, actually.
Yeah, 20, that's not... Yeah.
I thought I was being mean to you then.
No.
I thought I was older for some reason. It's the glasses. It's
I
just
thought you'd be younger.
aging.
All right, so
right.
where to next? The draft we pick with our picks, and hopefully we can get a kid out of that.
Well, we're getting Kako.
Besides Kako,
There's a young man, Nugent, something like that. Is
he an NGA as well?
Must be, but he's not. Yep. Obviously, not the talent of Kako. No. I did find it hilarious. We're so already as supporters excited for this kid, and I've not seen a single highlight of his. I'm just going on vibes.
Well, what is it we read about him the other day, and it was described like Papley, and who else did they have him as?
And he was quoted as saying he wants to play like he wants to be involved in something like what's going on at Hawthorn. That real vibe, fast, high scoring. And he's ready-made. He'll come straight in.
He looks a good size too. Yeah. Like he's not a skinny little bugger. Like he's got some thickness about him. So
some thickness.
Well, he's got some size about the kid. He's not like
He's not a midget or not a midget.
He's not a rake.
He's not a rake. Yes.
Not a rake running out on the ground.
Yeah. Just before we wrap, we had to just restart the Zoom there quickly because we've gone the Povo subscription for the off season.
Season we don't care.
Yeah, don't care. I pay for it during the year, just so you all know.
We've got to save some money, people. What do you think? We're not rolling in the coins back here.
No, unfortunately. Just want to touch briefly on the Richmond Football Club. So, there's some clubs, like North Melbourne have pick 2, sure, but then they've pick 62. Nothing else. Adelaide 4, then 64. So, there's a lot of clubs with not a lot. And then you got Richmond. So, our first pick's 28. So, before we get a draft pick, Richmond... 1, 6, 10, 11, 18, 20, 23, and 70. And 24. 70, I saw 79, and then little brain got confused. So they got 10 or nearly 11,000 points in their pick value. The next best is St Kilda with just over 4,000. Yeah, so they've essentially got two number 1 draft picks more than anyone else in the competition.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks before we get one. Is this what we should have done? Like we've talked about this for years, that we get frustrated that we never fell and just went back with this. And what we're hoping that this strategy is saying, that we need more talent in the club. And the only way really to do it, and I think the real best way to do it is to build it from this. You build a culture because you bring all these kids in at the same time within 2 or 3 years of each other. They all become mates. They all want success. Whereas I think if you cherry pick great players, I don't know if you build the same culture.
It's the whole champion team over team of champions argument there. What I will say, the only risk I see with Richmond is in 5 years' time, if even 4 of those 8 picks are top talents, I don't know if they can afford to keep them. And
that's a problem.
Future them problem. But we saw this already with Gold Coast and GWS, that they had so much top end talent that they just did not retain it, and it's hurt Gold Coast a lot more.
That's an issue. Yeah, it's an issue I'd take on.
Same.
Yeah.
But nuts.
Yeah.
We are maybe the last. Oh no, Gold Coast don't have a pick until 39. Collingwood don't have a pick until 52. Hawthorn don't have a pick until 33. Geelong don't have a pick until 45.
Well, the other interesting one too is that I don't know when, but that would be very soon that the Tasmania thing will start to take effect.
Oh yeah, they'll get all their concessions. Yeah, it's a point.
So that'll within the next, I reckon, wouldn't say 3 years that could start to hit. That they'll be starting picking players.
So it's a good time to bum out now.
Yeah, that's right. So
maybe that's what we need to be looking at next year.
Well, Richmond, I reckon, are doing it right at about the right time, because if they do this year and next year, and probably the year after that, then they're going to get their 5 guns into the club.
Yeah.
Whereas if we try and do it, we could be pushing against Tassie, which would be more challenging.
Well,
Anyway.
I'd hope by that point we are past the point where we need to bottom out. I think that would have been good 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's too late for us.
Yeah, I don't think we're trying to bottom out, but we're clearly trying to get some better talent into the club, because they see that, Merritt now is literally our oldest player at the club, if not counting Goldstein, which we won't. Merritt will be close to, with now Stringer's gone, Heppel's gone.
You can't say literally and then just choose to exclude a particular
Well, I'm
player.
not counting the 37-year-old.
But he's on the list, isn't he? You got to count. You can't use the word literal.
Yeah, true. But I'm talking about playing 23. They're going to come out and play. Like,
we are just hoping he's not on that
he's
list.
the assistant coach. He better be a freaking assistant coach. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, like he's now. I would have to guess he'd be our oldest player, second oldest. How about I'll say it that way?
There you go, big dog. Well done.
Takes time.
I haven't. Oh, sorry. I was going to say I don't have the capacity to check this, but I reckon we do
have our
because of
list.
our fancy list. Yeah, we made spreadsheets, people.
They're not very good, but we make them.
Age.
And then we don't use them.
Shield. We forgot about Zach.
Dylan.
Dylan.
Dylan Shield. Yeah,
So
okay, fair
Zach,
enough.
still Zach's third oldest,
Yep.
and then it's Langford, Wright, Parrish, Gresham.
Wow.
So that's with Kelly gone, Wiedemann gone.
Yep.
So
And Heppel gone. Yeah. So yeah, that's.
it's going to be pretty young.
And then none of them, like those guys you mentioned, Merritt's obviously talented, but none of them are talented. Like none of them are good players.
Super top end. And
Yeah,
even Parrish now, it's been so long since he's been able to play.
He's had
good
that one
footy.
good year. Now,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
concern now was that just a blip?
Or is it just the injuries and that's your career?
Yep.
Um,
So you can't really say he's a good player at the moment. 'cause
It's
he
good. And I love this conversation from the club about this 3-year plan, because it just tempers our expectations a little bit. So hopefully come next year, us as supporters don't feel quite as despondent and put off
when we finish 12th again.
if there's poor performances. But I think it still stands for me. I just don't want to get thrashed every week. Like, it's okay to play poorly every so often. That's okay. We know we're not going to be winning flags, so you can be a little bit up and down, but just none of this.
Well, my thing at the moment would be, if we're doing this next year where we've already got 2 first-round picks, I'd be trying to find that third, and I don't know how what play, again, I'll throw the Parish to Geelong sort of thing, for their first round, because that's what Geelong do.
Cotton on FC.
Yeah, Cotton on FC. And then we go into the draft, with 3 first rounds. That might be the sort of thing, you can do something with. But anyway.
Time will tell.
Yep.
I think that'll do us. We've spoken about everything we wanted to talk about. You never did give us... Oh, no, we did do the rating, sorry.
Yeah, okay, 7.
Yeah,
you gave it an 8.
Yeah, my
I
apologies.
mean, way too high,
I
mate.
was trying to hang shit on you.
6.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in, as usual. This was a bit rusty, but that's what happens when you don't record for 2 months.
We don't even think... We realise we don't have anything else to talk about.
I haven't even talked to him in 2 months, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been great.
Dick.
All right. See you, everyone.
Yep. If you have any suggestions for us for next year, something you want to see, let us know in the comments as well. Jump on YouTube and just, let us know. All right. Go Dons.
Go Bombers.